Hi, everybody. Hi. Hey, thanks for coming. Not that you had a choice. Thanks for coming anyway. If you didn't get a brochure, please make sure that you get one on the way out. This is Toledo Early College High School's 6th year participating in the Poetry Out Loud contest. Statewide, this is the 10th year that the state has been participating in this contest. So we're really glad to be a part of it. Start with just a few housekeeping notes. Please take a moment and check that your cell phone ringers are turned off. Thank you. Also, if you need to use the restroom at any time, obviously no one's holding you here at gunpoint, but please wait until a time between recitations so as not to interrupt the recitations. And please do so as quickly and quietly as you can. I do want to take a moment to thank our judges. I want to introduce them to you. Let's give them a warm early college welcome. You haven't even met them yet. Why are you clapping already? You can read more about them on the back of the program if you haven't got one. There's a whole bunch of them outside, so don't worry about it at school if they haven't got one by now. They can get one on their way out. Or maybe no. We'll start with Imani Latif here on the end. This is his 3rd straight year judging this contest for us. Fans of comics will want to check out Imani's new project called Peep Game Comics, dedicated to digital African-American comic authors, so you'll want to check that out. Thank you, Imani, for joining us today. Next to him is Mr. Ryan Bunch. Ryan Bunch does tons of stuff for the Toledo arts community. He is the performing arts coordinator for the Toledo Arts Commission. Many of you may have seen him if you've done work with the youth. What's the name of the youth art now? Young Artists at Work. Who's worked on Young Artists at Work? Oh, some of you. Okay, good. Brady Pedaway, Taylor Warren, and Valentina. So Ryan, thank you for being here also. Next to him is Mr. Timothy Geithner. He is a creative writing instructor over at the University of Toledo. He's also founded the Oriole Press, which is dedicated to making very small runs of high-quality printmaking. If you get a chance when you go over to the university, take his printmaking course. It's got to be the coolest course that I never took. You may have heard of this, our 4th judge this year. This is Miss Michaela White. Toledo Early College graduate of 2014. Was it a 4-time school champion, Michaela? 4-time school champion? Was it 3? 3 times. Was it Ariel?
Yes.
3-time school champion. She did get an opportunity to go to Washington, D.C. for the national finals in 2013. So, welcome home, Michaela. Our prompter for today's event will be Mr. Steve Tomzak. You might have heard of him. Our accuracy judge is Miss Sherry Storm. You may have heard of her. Welcome home, Miss Storm. Our mathematician and calculator will be Mr. Paul Tierney. Thank you very much. Donald Knowles will be assisting him. We also have with us a special guest, the Ohio Poetry Out Loud coordinator. Where did you go, Miss Katie Sweat? Oh, there you are. Miss Katie Sweat is here to join us, so welcome her. There is a small typo on the brochure because I did it, and of course, I know. Go ahead, you want to boo me? Boo me. I deserve it. On the brochure, it says that the first poem recited is The Room by Conrad Aiken. That's incorrect. Lori Britt will be performing The Woman at the Washington Zoo by Randall Gerald. Ladies and gentlemen, Lori Britt.
The Woman at the Washington Zoo by Randall Gerald. The saris flew by me from the embassies, cloth from the moon, cloth from another planet. They look back at the leopard, like the leopard. And I, this print of mine, that has kept its color alive through so many cleanings, this dull, null navy I wear to work, and wear from work, and so to my bed, and so to my grave. no complaints, no comment, neither from my chief, the deputy chief assistant, nor his chief. Only I complain. This serviceable body that no sunlight dyes, no hand suffuses but dome-shadowed, withering among columns, wavy beneath fountains, small, far off, shining in the eyes of animals. These beings trapped as I am trapped, but not themselves the trapped. Aging, but without knowledge of their age. Kept safe here, knowing not of death, for death, oh, bars my own body. Open, open! The world goes by my cage and never sees me. And there come not to me as come to these, the wild beasts, sparrows pecking at the llama's grain, pigeons settling on the bear's bread, buzzards tearing the meat the flies have clouded. Vulture, when you come for the white rat that the foxes left, take off the red helmet of your head, the black wings that have shadowed me, and step to me as man, the wild brother at whose feet the white wolves fawn, to whose hand of power the great lioness stalks, purring. You know what I was. You see what I am. Change me. Change me.
Our next recitation comes from Mackenzie Brogan.
The Obligation to be Happy by Linda Paston. It is more onerous than the rights of beauty or housework, harder than love, but you expect it of me casually, the way you expect the sun to come up, not in spite of rain or clouds, but because of them. And so I smile, as if my own fidelity to sadness were a hidden vice, that downward tug on my mouth, my old suspicion that health and love are brief irrelevancies, no more than laughter in the warm dark, strangled at dawn. Happiness. I try to hoist it on my narrow shoulders again. A knapsack heavy with gold coins. I stumble around the house, bump into things. Only Midas himself would understand.
Reciting next, Andrea Cook.
In the Desert by Stephen Crane. In the desert, I saw a creature, naked, bestial, who, squatting upon the ground, held his heart in his hands and ate of it. I said, "Is it good, friend?" "It is bitter, bitter," he answered. "But I like it because it is bitter and because it is my heart."
And don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, it is okay to weep openly at the recitations of poems. It simply means you're a human being with a soul. There's no shame in weeping openly.
Our next recitation comes from Brooke Galt.
The end of science fiction by Lisa Wheeler. This is not fantasy. This is our life. We are the characters who have invaded the moon who cannot stop their computers. We are the gods that can unmake the world in 7 days. Both hands are stopped at noon. We are beginning to live forever in lightweight aluminum bodies with numbers stamped on our backs. We dial our words like music. We hear each other through water. The genre is dead. Invent something new. Invent a man and a woman naked in the garden. Invent a child that will save the world. A man who carries his father out of a burning city. Invent a spool of thread that leads a hero to safety. Invent an island on which he abandons the woman who saved his life with no loss of sleep over his betrayal. Invent a shepherd that kills a giant, a girl who goes into a tree, a woman who refuses to turn her back on the past and is changed to salt, a boy who steals his brother's birthright and becomes the head of a nation. Invent real tears, hard love, slow-spoken ancient words difficult as a child's first steps across the room.
The next poem that you're going to hear actually inspired Mr. Shauver's incorporation of math out loud after Isis's recitation last year. Next up to recite, raise your hand.
Numbers by Mary Cornish. I like the generosity of numbers. The way, for example, they're willing to count anything or anyone. 2 pickles. 1 door to the room. 8 dancers dressed as swans. I like the domesticity of addition. Add 2 cups of milk and stir. The sense of plenty. 6 plums on the ground. 3 more falling from the tree. A multiplication school of fish times fish, whose silver bodies breed beneath the shadow of a boat. There's an amplitude to division as it opens Chinese takeout box by paper box. Inside every folded cookie, a new fortune. And I never fail to be surprised by the gift of an odd remainder, footloose at the end. 47 divided by 11 equals 4, with 3 remaining. 3 boys beyond their mother's call. 2 Italians off to the sea. 1 sock that isn't anywhere you look. Thank you.
So as you all know, the classroom competitions feature exclusively freshmen and sophomores, but we always invite you to come back as upperclassmen and participate in Poetry Out Loud. And this year we have senior Kadira Hobbs joining us.
New Folk by Terrence Hayes. I said folk was dressed in blues but hairier and hemmed. After the acoustic banjo disciples, Jebediah said, when and wherefore shall the bucolic blacks with good tempers come to see us pluck as Elizabeth Cotton intended? We stole my Uncle Windchime's minivan, penned a simple ballad about the drag of lovelessness, and drove the end of the Chitlin Circuit to a joint skinny as a walk-in temple, where our new folk was not that new, but strengthened by our 12-bar conviction. A month later, in pulled a parade of well-meaning alabaster post-adolescents. We know Santan and braless ones, piled in the ladder back front row with their boyfriends, first because beneath our twanger slept what I'll call a hunger for the outlaw. One night, Jay asked me when sisters like Chapman would arrive. I shook my chin wool then and placed my hand over the guitar strings window till it stood. When the moon's black, I said, be faithful.
How about that poetry, huh? Next to recite sophomore, Angie Huang.
Night by Kenneth Patchen. Be music, night, that her sleep may go where angels have their pale, tall choirs. Be a hand, see, that her dreams may wash thy guisement, touching the green flesh of the world. Be a voice, sky, that her beauties may be counted, and the stars will tilt their quiet faces into the mirror of her loveliness. Be a road, earth, that her walking may take thee where the towns of heaven live their breathing spires. Oh, be a world and a throne, God, that her living may find its weather, and the souls of ancient bells in a child's book shall lead her into thy wondrous house. Thank you.
Our next finalist admitted that she always finds herself on stage accidentally. Ladies and gentlemen, Destiny Kite.
Late Echo by John Ashbery. Alone with our madness and favorite flower, we see that there really is nothing left to write about. Or rather, it is necessary to write about the same old things in the same way, repeating the same things over and over for love to continue and be gradually different. Beehives and ants have to be examined eternally, and the color of the day put in hundreds of times and varied from summer to winter, for it to get slowed down to the pace an authentic caravan and huddle there, alive and resting. Only then can the chronic inattention of our lives shape itself around us, conciliatory, and with one eye on those long, tan plush shadows that speak so deeply into our unprepared knowledge of ourselves, the talking engines of our day.
Our second upperclassman to recite for us, Delana Lane.
The Bones of My Father by Etheridge Knight. There are no dry bones here in this valley. The skull of my father grins at the Mississippi moon from the bottom of the Tallahatchie. The bones of my father are buried in the mud of these creeks and brooks that twist and flow their secrets to the sea. But the wind sings to me. Here, the sun speaks to me of the dry bones of my father. There are no dry bones in the northern valleys, in the Harlem alleys. Young black men with knees bent gnawed on the stoops of the tenements and dream of the dry bones of my father. And young white long hairs who flee their homes and bend their minds and sing their songs of brotherhood. And no more wars are searching for my father's bones. There are no dry bones here. We hide from the sun. No more do we take the long straight strides. Our steps have been shaped by the cages that kept us. We glide sideways like crabs across the sand. We perch on green lilies. We search beneath white rocks. There are no dry bones here. The skull of my father grins at the Mississippi moon from the bottom of the Tallahatchie. Thank you.
Hey, it's called Poetry Out Loud. Next to recite, Patrick Jeep Maisie.
Promises by David Kirby. I have met them in dark alleys, limping and one-armed. I have seen them playing cards under a single light bulb and trying to join in, but they refused me rudely, knowing I would only let them win. And I've seen them in the foyers of theaters, coming back late from the interval, long after the others have taken their seats. And in deserted shopping malls, late at night, peering at things they could never buy. And I have found them wandering in a wood where I too have wandered. This morning I caught one, small and stupid, too slow to get away. It was only a promise I had made to myself once and I forgot, but it screamed, kicked at me, and ran to join the others, who looked at me with reproach in their long, sad faces. When I drew near them, they scurried away, even though they will sleep in my yard tonight. I hate them for their ingratitude. I, who have kept countless promises, as dead now as Shakespeare's children. You bastards, I scream. You have to love me. I gave you life. Thank you.
Last year I put out the call. I said, last year we had one male reciter. And I said, guys, we got to get out there. So I'm glad to see that we have a number of males up here doing poetry today. Next in that line is freshman Caden Miller.
Analysis of Baseball by Mae Swenson. It's about the ball, the bat, and the mitt. Ball hits bat, or it hits mitt. Bat doesn't hit ball, bat meets it. Ball bounces off bat, flies air, or thuds ground dud, or it fits mitt. Bat waits for ball to mate. Ball hates to take bat's bait. Ball flirts. Bat's late. Don't keep the date. Ball goes in, thwack, to mitt, and goes out, thwack, back to mitt. Ball fits mitt, but not all the time. Sometimes ball gets hit, pow, when bat meets it, and sails to a place where mitt has to quit in disgrace. That's about the bases loaded, about 40,000 fans exploded. It's about the ball, the bat, the mitt, the bases, and the fans. It's done on a diamond, and for fun. It's about home, and it's about run.
Baseball is definitely the most poetic of sports. Next to recite another ninth grader, Mario Padron.
Rip Rap by Gary Snyder. Lay down these words before your mind like rocks. Placed solid by hands in choice of place. Set before the body of the mind in space and time. Solidity of bark, leaf, or wall. Cobble of Milky Way. Straying planets. These poems. People. Straying planets with lost ponies and dragging saddles and rocky surefoot trails. Ants and pebbles in the thin loam, each rocky word a creek-washed stone, granite ingrained with torment of fire and weight. Crystal and sediment linked hot, all change in choice of place, and thoughts as well as things. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. Our next recitation comes from sophomore Amelia Reese.
Larkin-esque by Michael Ryan. Reading in the paper a summary of a 5-year psychological study that shows those perceived as most beautiful are treated differently. I think they could have just asked me, remembering a kind of pudgy kid in late puberty, the bloody noses and wisecracks because I wore glasses. Though, we all know by now how awful it is for the busty starlet no one takes seriously. The loveliest woman I've lunched with lamenting the opacity of the body. They can never trust a man's interest even when he seems not just out for sex. Eyes focus on me above rim of wine glass, and who would want to live like this, and what does beauty do to a man? Don Juan, Casanova, Lord Byron. Those fiery eyes and steel jawlines confront a furnace of self-loathing. All those breathless women rushing to him while hubby's at the office or ball game primed to be consumed by his beauty while he stands next to it, watching. So, maybe the looks were dealt her best. It's only common sense that happiness depends on some variable deprivation or defect. And who knows what conflicts great beauty could have caused, what cruelties one might have suffered from those now friends, what unmanageable possibilities smiling at every small turn. So, if I get up to draw a tumbler of ordinary tap water and think, what if this were nectar, dripping from delicious, burning fingers? Will all I've missed knock me senseless? No, of course not. It won't. Thank you.
Next to recite, freshman J.C. Salmon.
Time I've Lost in Wooing by Thomas More. The time I've lost in wooing, in watching and pursuing the light that lies in women's eyes has been my heart's undoing. Though wisdom oft has sought me, I scorned the lore she brought me. My only books were women's looks and follies, all they've taught me. Her smile when beauty granted, I hung with gaze enchanted, like him the sprite whom maids by night oft meet in glen that's haunted. Like him too, beauty won me, but while her eyes were on me, if once their ray was turned away, oh, winds could not outrun me. And are those follies going? And is my proud heart growing too cold or wise for brilliant eyes, again to set it glowing? No. Vain, alas, the endeavor from bonds so sweet to sever. Poor wisdom's chance against a glance is now as weak as ever. Thank you.
Next up to recite, sophomore Alyssa Shad.
A Blind Fisherman by Stanley Moss. I teach my friend, a fisherman gone blind, to cast true left, right, or center, and how far between lily pads and the fallen cedar. Darkness is precious. How long will darkness last? Our bait, worms, have no professors. They live in darkness, can be taught fear of light. Cut into 3s, even 6s. They live separate lives, recoil from light. He tells me, I am seldom blind when I dream. Morning is anthracite. I play blind man's bluff. I cannot find myself, my shoe, the sink, tell time, but that spilled milk and ink. The lost and found I cannot find. I can tell the difference between a mollusk and a whelp, a grieving liar and a lemon rind. Laughing, he says, I still hope the worm will turn pink, lank, and warm, dined out on apples of good fortune. Books
have a faintly legible smell. Divorced from the sun, I am a kind of bachelor henpecked by the night. Sometimes I use my darkness well in the overcast and sunlight of my mind. I can still wink, sing, my eyes are songs. Darkness is precious. How long will darkness last? He could not fish, he could not walk. He fell in his own feces. He wept, he died where he fell. The power of beauty to right all wrongs is hard for me to sell. Thank you.
Our next recitation comes from sophomore Lila Shahadi.
I heard a fly buzz when I died by Emily Dickinson. I heard a fly buzz when I died. The stillness in the room was like the stillness in the air between the heaves of storm. The eyes around had wrung dry, and breaths were gathering firm for that last onset when the king be witnessed in the room. I willed my keepsakes, signed away what portion of me be assignable. And then it was, there interposed a fly with blue, uncertain, stumbling buzz between the light and me. And then the windows failed. And then I could not see to see.
How we doing? Good to see, that's the end of our first round. And let's hear a big round of applause for all of our The thing I like best about a program like this is it really does show the broad spectrum of poetry. I think a lot of times people hear poetry and they think flowers and rainbows and butterflies, and we've had the gamut of happy and depressing and light and sad and all sorts of colors in between. You'll also note that a number of our contestants dressed up for their poem recitations. I also dressed up. This is my Walt Whitman beard. I've been working on it. Hey, Bree. Hey, Bree. You like my beard? In case you're unfamiliar with the format of the contest, all recitations will be in 2 rounds. The first poem needs to be written after 1900. A second poem needs to be from before 1900. One of the 2 poems needs to be longer than 25 lines, and the second poem needs to be shorter than 25 lines. So in the second round, you'll see the opposite. So for example, Lila Shahadi just read a short poem from Emily Dickinson. Her next poem will be much more modern, written after 1900, and it will be longer than 25 lines. So you get to see a nice broad range of poems. Are you ready for round 2? Hold on a second. Who said no? Kaylin. Who's ready for round 2? All right, never mind. Let's just all go back to math class then. Mr. Schauber is packing up his bags. To begin the second round, let's hear a nice round of applause for Lori Britt.
Often rebuked, yet always back returning, by Emily Bronte. Often rebuked, yet always back returning, to those first feelings that were born with me, and leaving busy chase of wealth and learning, for idle dreams of things which cannot be. Today I will seek not the shadowy region, its unsustaining vastness waxes drear, and visions rising, legion after legion, bring the unreal world too strangely near. I'll walk, but not in old heroic traces, and not in paths of high mortality, and not among the half-distinguished faces, the clouded forms of long past history. I'll walk where my own nature would be leading. It vexes me to choose another guide where the gray flocks and ferny glens are feeding, where the wild wind blows on the mountainside. What have those lonely mountains worth revealing? More glory and more grief than I can tell. The earth that wakes one human heart to feeling can center both the worlds of heaven and hell.
Welcome back to the microphone, Mackenzie Brogan.
How many times these low feet stagger by Emily Dickinson. How many times these low feet stagger? Only the soldered mouth can tell. Try. Can you stir the river? Try. Can you lift the hasp of steel? Stroke the cool forehead, hot so often. Lift, if you care, the listless hair. Handle the adamantine fingers, never a thimble more shall wear. Buzz the dull flies on the chamber window. Brave shines the sun through the freckled pane. Fearless, the cobweb swings from the ceiling. Indolent housewife in Daisy's lane.
Emily Dickinson, by the way, our most selected poet this year. There will be 3 Emily Dickinson recitations. Remember studying her in class? The groan of enthusiasm. Next to recite, welcome back, Andrea Cook.
Every Single Day by John Straley, after Raymond Carver's Hummingbird. Suppose I said the word springtime, and I wrote the words King Salmon on a piece of paper and mailed it to you. When you opened it, would you remember that afternoon we spent together in the yellow boat, when the early whales were feeding and we caught our first fish of the year? Or would you remember that time off Cape Flattery, when you were a little girl, your father smoking, telling stories as he ran the boat, then the tug and zing of that very first fish spooling off into the gray green world? You laughing, brushing back your hair before setting the hook? I know I'm hard to understand sometimes, particularly when you're standing at the post office with only a piece of paper saying King Salmon on it. But just think of it as a promissory note. And that electric tug, that thrill, pulling your mind into deep water is how I feel about you every single day.
Once again, Brooke Galt.
Chimney Sweeper, A Little Black Thing Among the Snow by William Lake. A little black thing among the snow, crying weep, weep, in notes of woe. Where are thy father and mother, sang? They had both gone up to the church to pray. And because I was happy upon the heath and smiled among the winter snow, they clothed me in the clothes of death and taught me to sing the notes of woe. And because I am happy and dance and sing, they think they have done me no injury, and are gone to praise God and his priest and king, who make up a heaven of our misery.
Our next recitation is from a poet who is always one of my personal favorite poets in terms of his rhyming and whatnot, but he also would never publish his poetry during his lifetime. He thought it took away from the purity of it. Anyway, we'll hear from him in a minute. Welcome back. Raise your hand.
The Windhover by Gerard Manley Hopkins. To Christ our Lord. I caught this morning's minion, kingdom of daylight's dolphin, dapple dawn-drawn falcon, and his riding of the rolling level underneath him. Steady air, and striding high there, how he rung upon the rein of a wimpling wing in his ecstasy. Then off off forth on swing as a skate's heel sweeps smooth on a bow bend. The hurl and gliding rebuffed the big wind. My heart in hiding stirred for a bird, the achieve of, the mastery of the thing. Brute beauty and valor and act, oh air, pride, plume, here buckle. And the fire that breaks from thee then, a billion times told lovelier, more dangerous. Oh, my chevalier, no wonder of it. Sheer plod makes plow down silly and shine, and blue bleak embers, my dear, fall, gall themselves, and gash gold vermilion. Thank you.
Next to recite, Miss Kadira Hobbs.
Thou Art My Lute by Paul Laurence Dunbar. Thou art my lute, by thee I sing. My being is attuned to thee. Thou settest all my words a wing and meltest me to melody. Thou art my life. By thee I live. From thee proceed the joys I know, sweetheart. Thy hand has power to give the meed of love, the cup of love. Thou art my love. By thee I lead my soul the paths of light along, from veil to veil, from mead to mead, and home it in the hills of song. My song, my soul, my life, my all. Why need I pray or make my plea, since my petition cannot fall, for I'm already one with thee. Thank you.
Welcome back to the microphone, Miss Angie Wong.
I Remember by Thomas Hood. I remember the house where I was born, the little window where the sun came peeping in at morn. He never came a wing too soon, nor brought too long a day. But now, I often wish the night had borne my breath away. I remember the roses red and white, the violets and the lily cups, those flowers made of light, the lilacs where the robin built, and where my brother settled a burnham on his birthday. The tree is living yet. I remember where I was used to swing and thought the air must rush as fresh to swallows on the wing. My spirit flew in feather stem that is so heavy now. And summer pools could hardly cool the fever on my brow. I remember the fir trees dark and high. I used to think their slender tops were close against the sky. It was a childish ignorance. But now 'tis little joy to know I'm farther off from heaven than when I was a boy. Thank you.
Once again, Miss Destiny Kite.
The Paradox by Paul Laurence Dunbar. I am the mother of sorrows. I am the ender of grief. I am the bud and the blossom. I am the late falling leaf. I am thy priest and thy poet. I am thy serf and thy king. I cure the tears of the heartsick. When I come near, they shall sing. White are my hands as the snowdrop. Swart are my fingers as clay. Dark is my frown as the midnight. Fair is my brow as the day. Battle and war are my minions, doing my will as divine. I am a calmer of passions. Peace is a nursling of mine. Speak to me gently or curse me. Seek me or fly from my sight. I am thy fool in the morning. Thou art my slave in the night. Down to the grave will I take thee, out from the noise of the strife. Then shalt thou see me and know me, death no longer but life. Then thou shalt sing at my coming, kiss me with passionate breath, clasp me and smile to have thought me, aught save the foeman of death. Come to me, brother, when weary. Come when thy lonely heart swells. I'll guide thy footsteps and lead thee down where the dream woman dwells.
At the rehearsal yesterday, I promised them if any of them fainted, I would dive over and catch them before they hit the ground. So I'm still ready, just so you know, all of you. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it again for Delana Lane.
The Glories of Our Blood and State by James Shirley. The glories of our blood and state are shadows, not substantial things. There is no armor against fate. Death lays his icy hand on kings. Scepter and crown must tumble down, and in the dust be equal made with the poor crooked scythe and spade. Some men with swords may reap the field and plant fresh laurels where they kill, but their strong nerves at last must yield. They tame but one another still. Early or late, they stoop to fate. It must give up their murmuring breath when they, pale captives, creep to death. The garlands wither on your brow, then boast no more your mighty deeds upon death's purple altar now. See where the victor bleeds. Your heads must come to the cold tomb. Only the actions of the just smell sweet and blossom in their dust. Thank you.
Once again, sophomore, Jeep Maisie.
Hope is a thing with feathers by Emily Dickinson. Hope is the thing with feathers that perches the soul and sings the tune without the words and never stops at all. And sweetest in the gale is heard. Sore must be the storm that could have bashed the little bird that kept so many warm. I've heard it in the chillest land and on the strangest sea, yet never in extremity it asked a crumb of me. Thank you.
Once again, Caden Miller.
The American Soldier by Philip Furneaux. A picture from the life, to serve with love and shed your blood. Approved may be above, but here below, examples show, 'tis dangerous to be good. Lord Oxford. Deep in a vale, a stranger now to arms, too poor to shine in courts, too proud to beg. He who once warred on Saratoga's plains sits musing o'er his scars and wooden leg, remembering still the toil of former days. To other hands he sees his earnings paid. They share the due reward. He feeds on praise. lost in the abyss of want, misfortune's shade. Far, far from domes where splendid tapers glare, 'tis his from dear-bought peace, no wealth to win. Removed alike from courtly cringing squires, the great man's levy and the proud man's grin. Sold are those arms which once on Britons blazed, when flushed with conquest to the charge they came. That power repelled and freedom's fabric raised. She leaves her soldier, famine, and a name. Thank you.
Once again, Mario Padron.
April Love by Ernest Dowson. We have walked in love's land a little way. We have learnt his lesson a little while. And shall we not part at the end of day with a sigh, a smile? Can I get a line?
A little while in the shine of the sun.
A little while in the shine of the sun. We were intertwined, lips joined, forgot how the shadows fall when the day is done and when love is not. We have made no vows, there will none be broke. Our love was free as the wind on the hill. There was no word said when he wished unspoke. So shall we not part at the end of day, who have loved and lingered a little while? Join lips for the last time, and go our way with a sigh, a smile. Thank you.
Once again, sophomore Emilia Reese.
Lines written in early spring by William Wordsworth. I heard 1,000 blended notes while in a grove I sate reclined, in that sweet mood when pleasant thoughts bring sad thoughts to the mind. To her fair works did nature link the human soul that through me ran, and much it grieves my heart to think what man has made of man. Through primrose tufts in that green bower, the periwinkle trailed its reeds, and I must think, do all I can, that there was peace there. The birds around me hopped and played, their thoughts I cannot measure. But the least motion which they made, it seemed a thrill of pleasure. The budding twigs around me spread as they reached for the air. Line.
And I must think, do all I can.
And I must think, do all I can, that there was pleasure there. If this belief from heaven be sent, if such be nature's holy name, I must think, do all I can, that there was pleasure there. Thank you.
Once again, freshman J.C. Salmon.
Ways of Talking by Ha-Jin. We used to like talking about grief. Our journals and letters were packed with losses, complaints, and sorrows. Even if there was no grief, we wouldn't stop lamenting, as though longing for the charm of a distressed face. Then we couldn't help expressing grief. So many things descended without warning. labor wasted, loves lost, houses gone, marriages broken, friends estranged, ambitions worn away by immediate needs, words lined in our throats for good whining. Grief seemed like an endless river, the only immortal flow of life. After losing a land and then giving up our tongue, we stopped talking of grief. Smiles began to brighten our faces. We'd laugh a lot at our own mess. Things became beautiful, even hailstones, even strawberry fields. Thank you, Toledo Early College.
Yes, thank you, Toledo Early College. Once again, let's hear for Alyssa Shad.
Mezzocammy by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. Half of my life is gone, and I have let the years slip from me and have not fulfilled the aspiration of my youth, to build some tower of song with lofty parapet. Not indolence, nor pleasure, nor the fret of restless passions that would not be stilled, but sorrow and a care that almost killed kept me from what I may accomplish yet. Though, halfway up the hill I see the past lying beneath me with its songs and sights. A city in the twilight, dim and vast, with its smoking roofs, soft bells, and gleaming lights. And here above me, on the autumnal blast, the cataract of death far thundering from the heights. Thank you.
Once again, Lila Shahadi.
Conversation by Aïd for Robert Lowell. We smile at each other, and I lean back against the wicker couch. How does it feel to be dead? I say. You touch my knees with your blue fingers, and when you open your mouth, a ball of yellow light falls to the floor and burns a hole through it. Don't tell me, I say. I don't want to hear. Did you ever, you start, wear a certain kind of silk dress, and just by accident, so inconsequential, you barely notice it. Your fingers graze that dress, and you hear the sound of a knife cutting paper. You see it too, and you realize how that image is simply the extension of another image, that your own life is a chain of words that one day will snap. Words, you say, young girls in a circle holding hands and beginning to rise heavenward in their confirmation dresses like white helium balloons, the wreaths of flowers on their heads spinning. And above all that, that's where I'm floating. And that's what it's like, only 10 times clearer, 10 times more horrible. Could anyone alive survive it?
Wow. Hey, let's hear it again for all of the competitors. Whoa, whoa. Great job. As a teacher, I'm always just real proud to see them come together, and there's such a ball of nerves coming up beforehand. And I do secretly love it to see them all nervous. It's great. But it's also great to see them persevere and sort of come through it. And the way they pull for each other is really touching to see too. I did forget to thank all of our guests that came from homes and friends and families. So let's give them a round of applause for joining us. We're always glad to share the talents of our students with our community. And audience, thank you all for your attention during the performances. I'm very appreciative of our ability to get together as a group and be respectful and quiet while so give yourselves a round of applause. What Faye and Kaylin say, it's better than math class. We're in just a moment. I'm going to ask Ms. Joseph to come up here and help me pass out the certificates. Let's hear it for Ms. Joseph. While Mr. Tierney is calculating, and we'll buy some time, While Mr. Tierney's calculating the final scores, we will announce the runner-up and the school winner. The state contest takes place in March, and it's actually the weekend right before we leave for spring break. So it'll be a fun time to go down to Columbus and to cheer on our early college people. At the state competition, all the finalists will recite a third poem as well. So it really becomes a showcase of poetry. And again, in my mind, I told them all yesterday, you've already won. Just being here, I think, is a real success story for all of us. So. What was that? What'd you think, everybody? How we do? I feel like this year, it was just a really strong, a wide range of poems. Wouldn't you say, Miss Wilson? Michaela, what'd you think? As I haven't been up here before and down there, like, which one do you like better? Oh, she likes it better down there. Okay, fair enough. So let's welcome back all of our finalists. If you come up and get your certificates, Lila Shahadi, Alyssa Shad, come on up. You know, Mr. Nissen would like to get a few pictures of everyone together, of course. And if you can stick around afterwards, that would be great. JC Salmon. Emilio Ruiz. Mario Padron. Caden Miller. Jeep Maisie. Delana Lane. Destiny Kite. Angie Huang. Kadira Haas. Raise your hand. Burke Galt. Andrea Cook. Mackenzie Brogan. And last but not least, Lori Britt. I know you're all getting tired of clapping and cheering, and it's the end of the day, but you got to give our judges one more round of applause. Thank you, judges, for coming. Thank you, Mr. Tomzak, for prompting. Ms. Storm for the accuracy judging. Mr. Tierney for calculating our scores. Mr. Nissen for everything that you do. To my colleagues, to the fellow staff members, thank you all for helping me in all that you do and making this so easy. What's that, Brianna? Oh, okay, and I guess you guys too. And who? And Donald. Donald, way to collect them. But just look at the diverse and talented group of people up here. We had poems from, short and long and old and new and happy and sad, and, we wept and we laughed and we loved it all. So, and thank all of you again for making this happen. And that allows us to keep doing it every week. Next time you see Vito, thank Vito's for being our sponsor. Mr. Tierney, are we ready? Class, can we get maybe a drum roll? Can you guys keep doing that for a minute? We'll wait, keep going. Keep going. All right, maybe you should take a breather. I don't want any hand injuries. Shout out the favorite poem you heard today. Just shout it out.
All right, here we go.
Okay, so I'll announce the runner-up. Drum roll. Second place will be an alternate in the state of Ohio in March. Jeep Maisie. And to appear at the 10th annual Ohio Poetry Out Loud event in Columbus, at the 6th annual Toledo Early College, the 2015 school champion, Toledo Lady. And while it is a competition, like I said, you're all winners in my eyes. I'm very proud of each of you. I had a great time hosting this event yet again. Wonderful job. I have the students.